What is a pay-to-play contract?
You got to pay to play. So a pay to play contract is something that's really separated me from some other agents in the area because of the way the market is. You have these sellers that have pieces of land that are very valuable, and people will come up to them and put their property under contract, and the seller might think their land is worth $1 million, and so they'll say, okay, I'm going to pay you full price $1 million, and the sellers are really, really happy, and they're like, but I have to get zoning approval. As soon as I get zoning approval, I will pay you your $1 million. And they're like, great, you get the zoning approval, I'll get the $1 million. Well, it's not a performance-based contract. It's not a pay-to-play contract, and so the buyer doesn't have any incentive to make this go quickly. The buyer is going to want to set up other people to buy their product, or procure a tenant, or make things happen that make it more financially sound to do the deal. Or they're, in an escalating market, they're waiting for it to go up in value. So they can take, I've had people come into this office, their property was under contract 2, 3, 4, even 5 years time. And they're like, this guy's just taking forever to get approval. And it's because the sellers didn't have a pay-to-play contract. So the way we construct the contract, and I'm no lawyer, I'm not an attorney, but I've been around enough that we know how to make sure the seller has a good strong contract, is we make it more performance based. We make it pay to play. So right now in the industry, I can't get you money up front. Like, I can't give you, like in the residential world, if somebody puts their house under contract, they're going to get like $1,000 or $2,000 due diligence money. I can't even get that in a big contract. But what I can get is we'll limit the free look to like 60 to 90 days. So the buyer is going to have 60 to 90 days to evaluate the property and see if they want to move forward. Well, on like $1 million property, I'm going to have somewhere in the neighborhood of $25,000 to $50,000 that is going to move from earnest money to a direct payment to the seller. So the seller, after 90 days time, is going to get 50 grand. And then, because the buyer should have evaluated whether or not they wish to move forward. They might not have gotten approval, but they've met with engineering, they've evaluated the soils, they've looked at the topography, they've done a wetland study. They know that it has the potential now to get approval. Well, then they're going to need somewhere between another 3 to 6 months to get the actual approval. Or it can even take 12 or 14 months. That's within the range of reason right now in the COVID world and what's going on with so much development. So now that they've gone through that second set, then we make sure that the seller gets another set of money. So they should know that even though it hasn't been approved, the county or the municipalities come back to them and said, do these things and then we'll give you your approval. So they're at $25,000 to $100,000, or excuse me, $50,000 to $100,000 on $1 million property. Now the buyer's pot committed. Now they probably have $20,000, $40,000, $60,000 worth of inspections, engineering, surveys, but they've also given the seller $100,000. So $150,000 on $1 million property is probably worth. Now they probably have it figured out where they can now sell the property for $2 or even $3 million, but the seller isn't strung along because of the way that this product has been structured, this contract has been constructed. The other thing that we do is we get extra tough on them. They're like, well, sometimes hiccups happen, sometimes unexpected things happen, and so we build into the contract like 30-day extensions. But those 30-day extensions are super expensive. Like the 30-day extensions could be like $10,000 or $25,000 a pop. All the money, this is not money in escrow, this is not money in a trust account, this is a check written to my sellers that as long as they don't breach, they get to keep that money. And after $100 grand, if somebody doesn't buy your $1 million property, just do it again, keep on doing it. But that's what a pay to play contract is.